You are listening to Nightbreed on Inspire Radio, and that was Merlin out of Russia with Gravelord, and we had Dismal Divinity before that with Hellbent. But right now, with Aussie metal legend on the line, we've got Chris from Hidden Intent. How you going, Chris?
Yeah, bloody good, mate. How you going? All right?
Yeah, it's awesome. It was good to crank some metal out on Monday night, man. It's great.
Yeah, dude. Nah, it's good that you're doing it, man, on a Sunday night when everyone's hungover.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, you were saying over there, you guys got a public holiday today. That must be nice and chill.
Yeah, real chill today, man. Had a good weekend. We played Port Noarlunga of all places on Saturday night, so that was sort of a gig down south, the southern part of Adelaide.
Oh, yep.
So we caught up with some crew there that haven't seen us play in years. They just haven't made it to a show for whatever reason. So it was packed and with plenty of moshing. I don't know if that was allowed, but it happened.
Yeah. Good. That's good for you guys. I see some moshing heads in front of you. Must have been a bit of a break not being able to play.
Yeah, and even playing like the whole social distancing thing and people not being able to mosh is a bit weird for our style of music, just seeing people not being able to react to the music they would normally and the way they would normally do. But yeah, Saturday I think was a bit more low key. Being at a sporting club, I think they had a bit more looser sort of rules, I guess. So.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So Breaking Point's a killer album, man. You must be happy with the reception, yeah?
Yeah, I'm really happy with it, man. The new album, it's definitely like something I'm really proud of. Like I'm proud of our older albums too, but this is the first one I can happily say I'm happy with every track on it. I'm really happy with the sound of it. As you can always have great songs, but if they're not mixed well, you always criticize that listening to it back,
Yeah,
but this one because we had COVID and we had a bit more time on our hands to we didn't have any tours coming up to rush it, we could really take our time on it and really get it sounding killer, which is what it turned out to be.
Awesome. What's the recording process for you guys? Are you doing it yourselves or are you kind of going to a studio or something?
We go into a studio, we do a bit of pre-production first, so we'll go to for this one, we actually got away right out in the sticks when COVID first hit, and we went, we're going to get away and just like no phones, no girlfriends, and just get down there and just write a whole album. And that's what we did. We wrote at least 75% of the record down there.
Awesome.
And then from there, just started heading into the studio. We do the guitars, bass, and drums at one studio, and the vocals at another. I just like to get different people involved with different perspectives.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then, what are you guys mixing yourselves? Mixing it all down? Or?
We got this mixed and mastered for the first time ever. We used someone overseas. We've never done that before. On the last two albums, we've had Andrew Kite at Against the Grain studio here in Adelaide, and he's been awesome to us. But for this one, we just wanted to test the waters and just get someone else overseas that works with European bands. He's Dennis Cohenny. He's worked with guys like Sodom, Exuma, and the Kuna Coil of all bands.
Yeah, wow.
So I'm really happy with what he came up with. It's really polished sound without being too overly produced.
That's cool. The cover for Breaking Point is probably the most Aussie thing I've ever seen. Way more Aussie than some of your other album covers. Other than looking excellent, is that an intentional move forward to kind of embrace ochre culture? Is that what you guys are going for?
Yeah, that's exactly it, man. You're referring to the Pauline Hanson zoomed in one, or the whole thing?
Mate, Paul Hogan.
Yeah. For Dead End Destiny, the whole album. I really wanted to capture the whole Aussie ochre vibe we had. We kind of did it on the last album a little bit with the Drop Bear stuff, but this time I was like, we need to, like the boys, we all agreed that we needed to really tap into what we're known for, and that, the Aussie ochre stuff. So that's why we got Crocodile Dundee on the front there. And because we knew people overseas would recognise Australia for that.
Yeah, true.
For our overseas crew, and we sort of renamed him as Thrasher Dial Dundee. And he's in Triumph with his foot on the crock, and then you've got the drop bears had to be in there. Us walking into a pub, you got Mick Taylor from Wolf Creek, his car driving off, and then of course Pauline Hanson, Alf Stewart, and God, what's the last one? What's his name? The name's the tip of my tongue now. I can see Bert Newton.
There
That's
you go,
right.
Yeah. Mean face, Bert.
So.
Cool. You guys did the chats cover on this one, Pub Feed. It's a great track. Have you had any feedback from the chats themselves?
Yes, we have. Yeah, we first did drop the single for that one back in early 2020. We dropped Pub Feed and A Place of Horror together digitally, and then we ended up putting him on the album when it was finally out. When we dropped it, I quickly sent the chats a message online, a DM, and they shared it, which was really cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Was really nice of those guys, but they're playing here in May, so I'm going to go to the gig, and maybe I've actually met them before backstage, so I'm curious to see if they'll recognize me again and go, oh, he's the guy, his band recorded it. So yeah.
No, that's cool. The track Dead End Destiny's got a couple of guys from Artillery out of Denmark. How'd you come about with that one?
Yeah, we toured China together back in 2014 when we first got Paul in the band on drums, and did a big tour with them, got to know him as you do on the road touring with bands, and drank plenty of beers with them as well. And then we just kept that relationship going, and they gracefully gave us a show on our last European tour in 2019. They gave us a gig in Denmark and Copenhagen, which was really cool. We needed a few extra gigs because we were doing a few summer festival slots. So I hit up the guys and they said, yeah, we'll give you this show. Got to stay at the singer's house. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then from there, I brought them down to Australia with my touring company, Churches of Steel. Did a whole Aussie tour with them. So while I was there, I was their tour manager. I pulled up the idea about it while we're having a few beers. I said, I'd love for you guys to drop some solos on a song. And so they agreed to it.
Yeah, awesome, man. It sounds really good.
Yeah, dude.
So you got the Slayer cover on there, Altar of Sacrifice. And that's a good lead into a question I try to get out of everyone. What got you into metal in the early days? What kind of bands, what albums?
Oh, mate, all of us are sort of we love and embrace thrash metal, particularly the big four. So, so albums like Rust in Peace, that's pretty, in heavy rotation amongst all of the band members.
Yeah.
The early Slayer records, obviously Rain and Blood, that's huge. But I personally get into sort of the more underground sort of thrash bands. I'm into Gamma Bomb, Lich King, who we toured with. But my guys, Phil and Paul's into more of the technical sort of the death metal sort of stuff. He loves Psychroptic and a lot of proggier kind of bands like Dream Theater, Tool, that kind of thing. Whereas Phil very much is an 80s child. loves his Steel Panther, and grew up listening to Van Halen and that kind of thing. So
cool. No, it's a good mix of genres to put together,
Yeah, definitely, man.
Talking about, you got a couple of other bands in the past. Is there any future plans for Obsidian Aspect or Abysmal?
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, Abysmal was kind of like my first band. The name kind of speaks for itself. Put a Z in there instead of an S. Oh, God. What was I thinking? But no, that was just sort of something I did with a mate. He's now in the army, so he was playing guitar in the band. He was a killer player, but I sort of knew after a while that the guys, we weren't all on the same page of where we wanted to take the band. That's why I ended up forming Hidden Intent. But Obsidian Aspect, I actually just bumped into the guitarist on the gig on Saturday. He came to the show. I haven't seen him in ages, so he said he's still doing it, writing music for it, but I don't know if he's going to ever bring it back to life again.
Okay. Oh, I hope it does, man. It's a good sound,
Yeah, I loved playing in that band, man. It was just, I don't know. Death metal was something I got into heaps in my earlier 20s, and now I don't really listen to death metal as much as anymore. Besides the old Cannibal Corpse or Morbid Angel, the greats.
Yeah. No worries. That's cool. You said you had a show on the weekend. You guys are in the middle of a tour. You got shows coming up, yeah?
Yeah, so we're 3 shows in now of our Dead End Destiny album launch tour. The next few shows we've got are some places we've never hit before. It should be really cool. Doing Brizzy, Gold Coast, which we've done before in April, and then another run of shows in April in the NT up north. So we're doing Alice Springs and Darwin. We've never played Darwin before, so I'm really looking forward to that. And my mate that's moved up there lives around the corner, so sorted.
Perfect, mate. Yeah.
And then Broken Hill, we played there before. We're doing that for Metal United Down Under in June, and we've got the Matt Skitz show here in Adelaide, and a little cheeky Renmark show as well.
Beauty.
All places. So yeah, another big tour hopefully in June. I can't talk too much about that, but I hope if it does go ahead, it'll be a sick show for us to be tour for us to jump on, because it's 2 pretty big Aussie metal headliners. So I won't say much more than that in case it doesn't happen.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Oh, cool. Sounds good. Well, we're going to play my favourite track, Get a Dog Up Here.
Yeah.
I can imagine this goes off live, hey? The crowd get into it?
Yeah, man, they're still digesting it. Like, I can tell people are loving it, but they're still like, this is, they haven't really had a chance to digest the album in its entirety yet, maybe. So, but yeah, so far, mate, a few circle pits, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, good, man. Cool. All right, well, cheers, Chris. Thanks for your time. That was good.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks for having me.
Cool. All right, let's get into it. This is Hidden Intent. Get a Dog Up Here.
Yeah, mate. Get it up, yeah.